All right, so update on the 7.3. Kind of went down a rabbit hole here. We got the entire top of the motor pulled off, turbo, all the piping, hoses. So what ended up happening was I was tracing down a fault code for the exhaust back pressure valve and found that it was leaking and found that the wires had been cut. There was a literal rat's nest down here when I pulled it open. So kind of went into it, pulled the wiring harness off the engine, pulled all the lines off, found that the turbo pedestal, which has the valve that controls the exhaust back pressure valve, was doing a considerable amount of leaking. And this is the old one here, and you can see this is the actual armature that pushes the valve open and closed, and it leaks oil like crazy. So the option is to either rebuild this and deal with it possibly again, which I'm in Texas, so I don't really need this. So I went with the deleted option, which is this new one right here. It's basically the same pedestal, but just without the valve on it. So the turbo will bolt right up to that, and that should eliminate any possible future oil leaks. I also did put a crossover line for the oil pressure for both heads. We replaced both of the HPOP lines going to each head as well, and got rid of those factory stainless steel lines that were all falling apart. And we've also got a riffraff FRX system that's going on here as well as soon as I get the new fuel bowl in. This is the new fuel bowl, just got to get it installed and put in place. And then while we've got everything torn apart, we do have the new up pipes, the riffraff up pipes, stainless steel. Everybody knows that the 7.3 up pipes from the factory are pretty much garbage. They leak and they use donut gaskets and they fall apart. So since we've got it all torn apart, we're going to go ahead and put that in as well. And last but not least, we've got the turbo pulled out. It's the factory Garrett turbo. I did rebuild it with all new seals. We've got a big head Banks wastegate controller on there, and we did swap out the internals to a KC balanced assembly turbine for both the intake and the exhaust. And we swapped out the exhaust port with a high flow without the valve in it like the old one had. Here's a look at the original OEM port. This is actually on the back of the turbo, and it's got this butterfly valve that actually opens and closes to control the amount of back pressure in the exhaust. And it's really there to help heat up the engine when it's colder outside. But here in Texas, we really don't need it. It actually adds restriction to the exhaust. And since we're here in Texas, we're just going to get rid of all of that. So we are getting there. Just a few more things I need to do. I am replacing the under valve cover harnesses while I'm here. I'm going to go ahead and get those changed out with the gaskets. We've got a new engine wiring harness that's going to go on here to replace all the frayed and broken wires from the rats. And we've already got our McMahon alternator installed as well. So coming along pretty nicely. Hopefully here in the next couple of days, we'll get all this put back together and we'll see how she runs.